Hey, Danny, how you doing, man?
If you choose death and destruction, then death and destruction will choose you.
Well, it's hard to argue with that.
Sounded like Donald Trump there. If you choose death and destruction...
And the bad hombres. Thanks, Donald Trump.
These bad Dalek hombres, okay?
They're from Skaro.
They're
what
coming
the hell is
over.
that? I don't know what that is.
They're coming over from Skaro to destroy our way of life.
They're destroying the American family with lasers instead of with unemployment. Thanks, Donald Trump. Thanks for your insightful comments on the Dalek problem.
Political satire with Lewis and Danny.
Political satire that's out of date by about 6 months. How long has Biden been in office?
I know.
Let's do some Biden satire.
I can't really do a Biden. See, I'm progressive, but not as progressive as you'd like me to be, you stupid fuck.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to cancel student debt. Are you? Great. No, I'm not. I'm not really. Psych.
I'm going to raise the minimum wage in 20 years. What?
Imagine if that's what politicians did when they were on the campaign trails. They did all these promises, then got into office, and instead of just, squirreling out from the promises, like the shifty little fucks they are, instead they were just like, I said I was going to provide discounts to student loans. Psych, bitch! And then they just did a backflip or something in the press conference room at Downing Street.
Yep, and they played like a clip of them whispering what they were actually going to do that we all just didn't hear because they turned their mic off.
What it was like those, those extreme close-up bits in Ant-Man where he's little and he's jumping on someone's shoulder and you can just see, like, in extreme close-up, like their beard hairs and their mouth moving and stuff.
Yeah,
but that's what it is. It's an extreme close-up of Boris Johnson saying, we're going to leave the EU or whatever, and then it's an extreme close-up of him saying, but not actually, or whatever he gets up to.
Oh, man. But anyway.
But now that we've nailed that political satire, I don't know why they don't hire us for Spitting Image, Dan. Why?
Probably because they've got like
actual skilled writers.
Yeah. What's it called? And integrity. That's the word.
Oh, yes. And that other thing, common sense. That's the one.
Yeah, that one. You need that, don't you? Whatever that is. But anyway, we are talking about Doctor Who season 3, episode 6. Don't complain about the number, just shut up. And it is Evolution of the Daleks, and it is the second part of the two-parter, and obviously we did last week's one, and it is written by Helen Rayner, directed by James Strong, starring David Tennant, Freema Agyeman, Miranda Rison, Ryan Carnes, and Hugh Quashire, and also Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, that's the X-Men. What's the Spider-Man one?
What's the rubbish?
That one.
No, what's the rubbish Amazing Spider-Man theme tune that no one can remember, but everyone remembers the Sam Raimi one?
I've got no idea. I don't think I remember the Sam Raimi one. Sorry, am I having some kind of aneurysm? What the fuck is going on?
You know that? I'm sure at least...
The thing is, the fact that it didn't make a lasting impression on me perhaps implies that that you're right. Is that the Sam Raimi one, which I don't think I actually remember either, left a vague impression on me.
Yeah.
The only reason the MCU one did is because the film came out and Spotify was like, Lewis, you like listening to soundtracks. Quick, look at this album. Look at this album, Lewis. Look at the album. So, maybe that's the only reason it has left an impression on me.
It might be the case. Do you have an opening statement for this episode?
I do. A good episode, but why is his brain out? Surely that's a step back.
The second part of a story that, while has a lot going for it, it struggles to stick the landing with some of its plot elements, but its ideas and message are one that I support and appreciate.
Yes, should we move gently on to CRQs?
Yes.
So why is his brain out? That does seem like a step backwards. Because the Dalek's brain isn't out, and neither is the human guy. His brain is not out. So how do they combine two beings whose brains are in and get a guy whose brain is out? Every single time I watch this episode, I think of that. Also, what are those shitty little tendrils on his head? What are they for? They've got the ability to genetically control things and whatever, so why not optimize for what you want? Which for a Dalek, I guess, would be basically what they are now, but a bit more mobile. So why not just make a human body with a Dalek brain in it? Do you know what I mean? What?
Yeah.
I don't. Plus, his depth perception's going to be fucking garbage. Somebody's going to throw something at him, and it'll just smack him in the face.
And it looks as if he can't turn his head. You know?
Yeah. I guess that's probably the prosthetics. If he's got a big rubber head on or something, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Christ knows, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
for some fuckwit from the Midlands. That's all I am.
I do have to for a species that is obsessed with weaponry and defense and offense. Like, you poke that guy in the eye and he's done. Do you know what I mean? The what do you call it? That radio that was blasted nearly killed the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was wee, and everyone was like, run, and they all just could cover their ears, but he had a conniption fit. You know what I mean? It was pretty bad.
Has he got ears?
Well, he must hear.
He must have ears.
Yeah, unless he's just so smart that he's predicted everything that's going to be said and has the perfect response.
Oh God! Also, why is he so slimy? I feel like I guess Daleks are kind of slimy, but is that an inherent quality of Daleks, or are they in some kind of amniotic fluid? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it's like a slug kind of thing. What do slugs have slime for? To move? Is that it?
Yeah, to move around, I guess. What? Yeah, I mean, I guess. I think slugs are just kind of generally wet. I think that's just what they're like. They're like dipping in puddles and stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to compliment the prosthetics, because even though the functionality doesn't, it is so impressive. The way that the tendrils move, and how the eye blinks and stuff like that. It's really, really cool, I have to say.
Yeah. Plus, it's strange to see a prosthetic and not think, oh, that's where the actual guy's eyes must be then. The guy that's wearing this helmet, that's what he must be seeing from. Yeah. So often you see, ridiculous prosthetics, and you think, oh, they've got a very long neck, but that bit of their neck is conspicuously a very different shade to the rest of them. So that must be where the actual human operator's eyes are. Yeah, it's nice to see a prosthetic that was clearly a nightmare to work with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's nice in a funny way because it looks so realistic. It's like Jaws. Jaws was famously a nightmare to work with, and yet you watch Jaws and it works really well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you
can
see
shark flaws.
Yeah, I mean, was it like a drone that was piloting it or something, or like a sort of motor, or was it just
the shark from Jaws? No, it's a whole odyssey of nightmares. They figured out very quickly that, because originally it was like an electronic sort of servos and motors and stuff type system, the kind of thing that you'd have in like a little robot that you gave a kid for Christmas. It was that kind of thing that they had going on, but then they tested it in fresh water and it worked, and then they realised they were going to have to actually put it in salt water to make the film. So they put it in salt water and it immediately broke. So they had to just strike a load of those scenes and push them way back in the chute. They went back to the drawing board and came up with this hydraulics system, which is like the same as what you have in your chair to scooch your chair vertically up and down.
Oh,
and,
I see.
Yeah, and then that worked, but it was also incredibly intricately complicated because they needed to have like a big hydraulics for like to move the shark's entire body. Then they also needed very small ones to move just the mouth or to move just the eyes or whatever it might be. So it became incredibly complicated and difficult to work with, to the point where I think after they finished, all the props men like destroyed it or something. I think I heard something like that. They just really hated it by the time they finished the film.
Well, that's kind of handy because, like, there are some points where you do see it, but like it's used quite sparingly in the film.
I imagine that's why.
Yeah, but it works because they use POV shots to sort of use the show the shark's sort of point of view. But we're not talking about Jaws. No, we're talking about this episode.
We are, yes. Have you got any CRQs about this episode?
I do, yes. It really goes to show like how ruthless the Daleks are in this episode. Like the attack on Hooverville is like again with the politics. It's just these it's essentially like an airstrike on like a defenseless sort of village. It's like it's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, totally.
The way that Solomon tries to give the the speech of if you've just got any decency, you'll just not kill innocent people for no reason.
We do not have decency. Yeah.
Yeah, and the exterminate that the Dalek utters is just so horrible. You can almost tell that the Dalek is absolutely disgusted by what Solomon
it's like
has
offended
just
by
said.
the concept of "won't you be nice, please?"
Yeah, it's like, how dare you say that to me? That it's horrific. I'm trying to say what else. A new race of Daleks with human DNA is very interesting.
Yes, it is. You're right. It's well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of posits the question at the beginning of the episode, like Dalek X says, "Oh, I think this species at heart is very similar to us," and that's sort of being explored through actual human beings with Daleks or DNA.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
People making choices, like even what do you call it? Oh, Martha's like, what are you then? Some sort of Dalek to the Doctor when he sort of, has to go into that sort of obey me because this is what I believe is to be absolutely correct. So that's interesting, but
it's something they play into a bit too much because they don't really explore it enough. It's a weird one. Is this idea of the Doctor is clearly really evil then, because it's like like the when Peter Capaldi jumped inside a Dalek, it's like, I see hatred, you would make a good Dalek, and all this sort of stuff. It's like, okay, well, why don't we explore that then? Why don't we explore the Doctor making morally compromised decisions rather than just a Dalek just saying it to me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the closest we ever got to was probably Dalek, the original one.
Yeah.
Where the Doctor was like, I'm going to destroy this thing, and then it's like, spared that choice because the Dalek kills itself, which is like, I mean, it made sense because it's like it hates itself now that it's like feeling, which is really interesting. But yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like I'm really like, just at the end of the episode are like, you are a good Dalek, and then it's like, all right, okay, we'll never bring that up again until we need to, and even then it will mean nothing and have no stakes for the rest of the show.
Yeah. Did you fall out of that hot air balloon, or were you pushed? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and no, we never get the answer, and then at the end of the season, it's such a massive fucking cop out. It's like, I'm not a good man, and I'm not a bad man. I am an idiot. Right? What does that have to do with? It's not really
a jump into your morals, is it?
Yeah, it's just you saying that you're very stupid, and it's like, with a box and a screwdriver, just passing through, helping out. It's like, Stephen, we get it, it's a great speech and all that, and Murray Gold's themes are playing, it's amazing, right? But you can't just expect us to just go, okay, that's a good arc. And I did for many years. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's so subversive. And then I thought about it for more than 2 seconds, and I was like, wait, nothing happened of anything.
No, you're completely right. Yeah, it's I'm big into things that sort of deal with questioning. Okay, so what really are morals then? And here we are again. Whenever anybody mentions morals, I go, well, have you seen this Netflix series, The Politician? Because that's like a really, you fucking should. It's a bit of a side arc. I genuinely think you would love it. It's really, really good.
Right, I will watch it. I promise I'll watch it.
Fucking better. But yeah, it's like, it has a really interesting. It talks about morals in a very interesting way, and about how, like, it is doing something bad but not wanting to. Is that the same as not doing a bad thing, but wanting to do the bad thing? And it has a really interesting conversation about what it means to have moral decisions and amoral decisions and immoral decisions. Because he wants to be a politician, and he sort of realizes, oh, well, politicians are sort of inherently unethical in a lot of ways. Yeah. But he also wants to do good just because of the humanity in him. He's like, I want to be the president sort of thing, but also I want to be nice to people and I want people to like me. and it's like an interesting sort of moral dichotomy, rather than, oh no, the Doctor's a bit bad sometimes. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's
No, definitely.
because you have the Doctor's a bit bad sometimes, but then you have like the episode with David Tennant, the Doctor's daughter. That's what it's called, where it's like this huge thing where you think, oh my god, are we going to see the Doctor's fury sort of finally unleashed in this world? And then you get to the point where he says, I would never execute someone, I would never kill somebody. It's like, okay, great, you have a strong moral code.
Yeah.
But my problem with strong moral codes in this and in anything is they're built to be tested. They're built for somebody to say to him, okay, you have a strong moral code, you'd never execute somebody, you'd never do this, but what about this situation? Which, because we're literally travelling through all of time and all of space, anything can happen.
Yeah.
What about this situation where your morals are called into question? What are you going to do then?
No,
do
definitely.
you have a fallback position? Do you know what I mean?
I completely agree, and it's like if he never would, what is the point in like pointing it at his head? Is he doing that to scare him, or is he actually struggling with like wanting to kill the guy? Because if he's struggling to kill the guy, I doubt he would have then went, I never would. It's like, you nearly did, mate. Like, you nearly.
You were seconds from it, David.
You were pretty close. I mean, you can, and then he gives a big speech, and it's like, yeah, the speech is good and all that, but like, I would rather see him struggle with like killing the guy, rather than just saying, oh, blah 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 blah, life is good and all that, and don't do it, you know.
What it is it feels like in the Chris Eccleston and David Tennant era, it felt like we had interesting subversive sci-fi. We had interesting sci-fi stories, and then as time's gone on, it's become more and more predictable. I'm going to pull a weird parallel here, but you're going to have to stick with me.
Right.
There's this podcast series I like, which is like sort of a true crime series. They've released 2 seasons, and the 3rd season is airing now, or it will be airing later in the year, but they've just released the first episode. And the first season, I thought it was really, really good. Really interesting take on true crime, and interesting how the stories were told. And it was like about how, well, could this be a true crime story? And it looks like it would also be this supernatural thing, but it was probably true, and all this sort of stuff. And then the second season was, I was in the supermarket and something weird happened. Ooh, wasn't that scary? Well, no, not really. He was just in the supermarket, and then he got a bit spooked by some crisps.
Yeah.
And the first episode of the 3rd season, the first story they come out with was, I worked at a funeral home, and I think I killed somebody that wasn't actually dead. And it's like, oh my god! They're coming out right back on sort of peak form by massively subverting what you've come to expect. So, is that not the position Doctor Who's in at the minute? We've come to expect a light-hearted, cheery, cracking, wise story. So why would you not massively subvert that? I want to see the Doctor kill someone.
No,
I know
definitely.
it would not fit at all tonally with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, but I would like to see the Doctor be in a position where they're like, I have to kill you. That's the only way out of this situation, is I have to kill you, rather than, oh, I have to kill you. Oh, thank God, Graham's just fallen over and dropped a chocolate biscuit and it's broken the lock and now we can get out. Yeah, so, do you know what I mean?
It's like
there's so much good potential.
Exactly, it's like the Pompeii episode. That's like a really good episode, you know, because like, that poses a really horrible moral question, but I won't get into that because we'll get to that eventually. Well, I say eventually. I mean, we're only like 1 season away now.
We're not that far off, are we? No.
Yeah, woohoo. Well, we are. You know when like they were saying about the. I'm trying to remember what they said because it was really convoluted. So they're using power from the sun,
right?
Which is called gamma radiation.
Yeah.
And they're going to draw the power from a solar flare that coincidentally came along for 100 years, and it's the biggest one since then. And they're going to use an energy conductor on the roof of the Empire State Building.
Made of dalekanium,
Yep, dalekanium to like.
Is it like unobtainium, which is of course famously very easy to obtain?
To attract dalekate, fucking hell.
Surely scaroium or something would have been a bit better.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look, what is that tank made out of that the humans are driving? Humananium. fuck?
Oh, it's sapienium.
They should have stuck. They should have stuck with polycarbide, because that's what they said it was in Doomsday.
Yeah. Plus, I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist. So that allows you to you've made up a material that sounds real but is actually fake.
Yeah.
Rather than a material which is definitely fake and sounds fake. Sorry, go on. I interrupted your story.
Yeah, but anyway, so they attract the solar flare, and that then awakens the army of sort of dead or shells of people to be converted. But
so it's kind of Frankenstein with the lightning bolt.
A little bit.
Kind of.
How is a solar flare and a lightning bolt the same thing?
Well, they're not. Plus, I am reading Frankenstein at the minute, and I don't think he was actually animated by a lightning bolt. I think, by the way, my favourite bit from Frankenstein, I'm reading it at the minute, is, well, it was dead fiddly to make a little body, so I decided to just make a really massive bloke, because then I can just get some big arms. And just...
Wow.
Okay, thanks, Victor, that's a good one. But yeah, I don't think he was animated by a lightning bolt. I think he sort of stitched the bits of corpse together, which is, there's like a lot of horror in that, and he talks about how it's like, I was so soaked in blood 24/7.
Yeah.
And then I think they don't actually say he was struck by I think they're just, and then he came alive. I put him together, and he was there was like a sheet over him, and then I saw the sheet move by his mouth, and I saw his fingers twitch, and I don't think he does get, I might be completely fucking wrong, but I don't think he does get struck by lightning. Apart from in Young Frankenstein, one of the greatest films of all time.
Oh, I haven't seen Young Frankenstein.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. It's like one of the greatest comedy films of all time. It's what's his pissing name? He played Willy Wonka.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder, yeah, is Victor Frankenstein's nephew, and he's teaching medical science at a university. There's this brilliant bit where he's like, there's a student in the front row that says, So, Dr. Frankenstein, can I ask you a question? He says, yes, my boy, you always can, and it is Frankenstein! And he's
what?
got this brilliant energy about him, because he's trying to separate himself from his uncle.
Oh, I see. That's nice.
Yeah, and he says, so isn't your uncle that guy that put a body together in the Swiss Alps and then animated it? And he goes on this long speech about how, I would never do that, sort of thing, and... Later in the film, he does precisely that. It's really brilliant. He decides that the problem that the original Frankenstein had was a PR problem rather than an actual problem.
Oh, rather than just, using dead bodies to reanimate something.
So what he decides to do is he decides to take the Frankenstein that he makes to do, like, musical theatre, so that he's got, like, an impressive... army of fans that really enjoy him. Oh my
god.
So there's this bit where, that song Putting on the Ritz?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's Gene Wilder and this enormous hulking monster are on the stage, and Gene Wilder is doing the sort of singing bit, and then it gets to the Putting on the Ritz bit, and they're like doing this dance, and they freeze still, and Frankenstein goes, "Put on the Ritz!" He starts screaming because he can't actually articulate words. It's really good. It's a really good film, and it's shot in black and white, and it's shot with a lot of the original props from the original Frankenstein, like Tesla coils and glassware and stuff.
I do like Tesla coils.
Well, there you go.
And they just look aesthetically cool.
And there's lots of really, really stupid. Yeah, it's a brilliant film. It's about this. It's the same level of comedy as like Airplane.
Oh, I see.
It's that stupid comedy. Not as good as Airplane, but it's very, very good.
Yeah. No, well, I'll definitely... That and The Politician, I'll give that a look.
I could not think of two pieces of media more different. So what the fuck was I talking about? Frankenstein?
Yeah, the lightning bolt that is somehow a solar flare that aren't the same thing.
Well, gamma radiation does exist. Which fucked me up when I learned about it in physics in high school, because I was like, isn't that from comics? But no, it does exist. Yeah, exactly. So, I guess we're talking about bringing dead bodies back to life. I get that it's meant to be a Frankenstein allegory, but if one of the Daleks doesn't shout, "It's alive," then what are you really doing with yourself,
Well, it doesn't say... the Daleks do shout, "The army awakes," like that.
Well, I suppose that sort of works.
Yeah, as the lightning is lit, passing through them and all that. And I love this scene where it's like we finally get to see them all standing up, and the Dalek is like, "You will identify," and this guy, this poor man who's been cast in this show, has the great honour of saying in the most deadpan, fucking monotone way possible, "I am a Dalek." And the Dalek's
what a brilliant piece of scripting.
And the Dalek's like, "Excellent!"
I feel like surely they could have had some kind of... I get that self-identification of because I suppose the human spirit is the thing they're trying to crush more than the human cognitive ability. So I guess if they're trying to crush the human spirit, you might want to ask a human body... It's like Get Out. Are they trying to get out people? Is that what they're doing? They're saying, "Are you actually a photographer and this blind gallery owner wants your eyes?" "No, I'm a Dalek." "Oh, brilliant, yeah."
They only ask one of them. That's that one guy, and then everyone's like, "Right, okay, let's invade." Woo!
One, that's a good sample size. One,
Yep.
We've done a survey. The sample size is one.
Yeah.
Brilliant, yep.
I will say, I do like the Dalek guns that they're giving them, because they look like Tommy guns. Which sort of fits the 1930s aesthetic, which I like as well. That's kind of cool. How is the Doctor...
With what we were saying last time about the theatre of this episode. It's like these ridiculous New York accents and stuff like that. It fits.
Absolutely. How has the Doctor not regenerated? Because he was like he was hit by like the power of the sun, and that wasn't enough to regenerate him. But like a bullet to the heart is enough. Like what is...
That's a good point. Maybe he's got... Oh, actually, maybe... Okay, this is a bit tenuous, but... You know, the Army of the Jadoon, or whatever the fuck it was, that episode where they were on the moon, and he got radiated, and then he put all the radiation into his shoe. Maybe it's that. He got irradiated by the sun, and he puts all the radiation into his arse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's still
maybe there is a certain internal logic. Well, yeah. Maybe he just...
he farts it out.
Yeah, he farts out the radiation. That's the only logical explanation, Danny.
When they're in the maybe that's why it's so cold. It's just came to me. It's just fucking came to me, Lewis. Like a splash of gamma radiation that somehow is electricity at the same time. Yep. He's put all of his radiation into Laszlo, and that's why he's like useless for like half the episode.
Oh yes.
He's like, "Oh, it's so hot." It's like, that's the radiation burning you up, mate. Know what I mean? And David Tennant is like, using the windows in his eyes to transfer it into you, and then saves him. There you go. I've done it. I've done it again.
You've done it. You've nailed it. He's done it again.
I've done it again.
Oh God, have you got any more CRQs, or are we opening statement o'clock?
Yeah, just a couple more.
Yeah.
When the Dalek humans turn on, in fact, before that, I have no idea how like Time Lord DNA is somehow meant to like reverse, like the Dalek DNA, like because what the
is
story
it a
is
metaphor or something?
Yeah, I know, but like then
is there something in Frankenstein with DNA? I don't think
we're
so.
just being too fucking.
What DNA was at that point?
We're just being too fucking generous now. Like it's very essentialist, if you know what I mean. Like DNA doesn't determine who you are and what you want as a person.
Yeah.
Like maybe
all DNA really determines is like you're a human that wants to eat food and maybe shit it out a bit later if you feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it. Maybe Dalek DNA is like genetically sort of altered to be essentialist and be that, and fine.
Well, that is, sometimes they do say that. It's all Davros removed all emotions except hate or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe he did find a way to genetically isolate emotions in Khaled DNA. I mean, we're giving this a lot of wiggle room here, but
Yeah, and like, are they born? Because they have an understand, like they can speak. So is it like they're given the intelligence of a Dalek, and then David Tennant's Time Lord DNA got involved, and then they were sort of, allowed to think for themselves? And if they are they now sort of part Time Lords? Are they like human Dalek Time Lord hybrids? The hybrid,
like River Song.
So I don't know. I wish they'd have tried to think about that more before they did that.
What colour is it? I'm sorry, sir. The hybrid. What colour is it? I don't know, sir. Well, then you haven't been doing a very good job looking.
And just a couple more. See when the Dalek humans are shooting at the Daleks?
Yes.
And destroying them. Why didn't Dalek Khan use the Control Alt Delete button then? Because after his two mates have been killed, he then goes, "Oh shit, destruct," and they just instant genocide, all dead. Why didn't you just do that before they killed your pals?
Yeah, that is a good point.
He can see into their minds. He knows how much serotonin they've got. He said that. He was like, "Warning, Dalek humans show increased levels of serotonin." It's like, okay, is that not an indication that they're maybe breaking from the programming? Huh? Maybe you should just get rid of them now? No, definitely not.
Plus, this is always something that annoys me about Daleks, is when the human Daleks were shooting at the Daleks, Daleks, in the first episode, Dalek, I've said that too many times, there's scenes where the Dalek, it shoots in sort of rapid fire. It's like pew 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 pew, and it rapidly moves the gun quite from side to side or up and down or wherever the targets are in the room, sort of thing. Yeah. They're shown to be sort of very skilled squid. So are they not? That's something that always frustrates me. Is the Dalek humans are firing on the Daleks and the Daleks are shooting back? Just shoot. Okay, now wait a bit, and another one.
Yeah.
Okay, and just have a lie down, and maybe another one if I can feel like it. Surely they should have this extreme skill.
Yeah, and what we're forgetting also is that about 20 minutes before, they absolutely fucking bombarded an entire village. Why didn't they just use their explosive rays to destroy the Dalek humans?
Yeah, that is one thing that annoys me. Is there's no point in me lying about this. When I was a kid, I had a lot of Doctor Who annuals and Doctor Who encyclopedias and stuff like that. Yeah. And I've probably still got them buried away in a box somewhere. But I remember reading that, admittedly in secondary canon, but that Daleks have very modular sort of weapons systems. So you can take off the sucker and replace it with a flamethrower, like they do in that episode, or take off the gun and replace it with a snorkel or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that always annoys me, is when Daleks are considered very multi-purpose. It's the idea that Daleks are willing to sort of, be more than multi-purpose and have specialist equipment and stuff. I don't know, it always rubbed me up the wrong way a bit when a Dalek shoots something and it doesn't behave the same way every time. Yeah, because that's true. The implication.
No, definitely, I agree with you. Yeah, and the Dalek runs away, and David
wonder if
Tennant.
We'll ever see him again.
Yeah, one day. And David Tennant does the most awkward run and darn movement I've ever seen. And I hear he's like, fuck, not again. I'm just trying to think of it now. Yeah, the pig and the showgirl joke. Yeah. But anywhere else in the universe I might worry about them, but 1930s New York, they'll be safe there.
Yes, well-known haven of acceptance and tolerance. Yep,
absolutely. But other than that, I think I'm out of notes. Chuck.
Yes, I am also out of notes. Chuck.
Yeah.
Let's have some closing statements. Go on, close my statement.
I remember this. I remember this episode when it first came on television, and I absolutely loved it. I have a big soft spot for it because it actually did something interesting with the Daleks and actually, made them question their own incredibly stupid ideology that should have been considering their genius level intellect, and they still think that being in a tank for the rest of your life is an ideal way to live. So I like that. There are some things that just didn't really make a lot of sense, but I do enjoy this episode and I can watch it over and over again.
Yeah, I'm the same. A very enjoyable episode, even if the internal logic is a bit flawed from time to time. The only other thing is, Why doesn't Dalek Sek, as a human, why doesn't he go and have a shower? He seems like a very slimy man.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, that's what. If I was making the episode again, I'd make that guy go and have a shower. It's the only change I would make.
The only change. Yeah, that's it. Everything else, perfect. Chef's
Flawless.
kiss.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was Doctor Who Season 3, Episode 6, Evolution of the Daleks. Should we do some cheeky shilling?
Yeah, let's appease the capitalist in me.
Yeah, the raging profit-yielding capitalist.
That's me. Yep. I love capitalism. I love the idea of crushing all other subverting market forces. I love that. I love the idea of low government intervention for big business. I love the idea of not paying tax since I'm a billionaire. Oh, that's great.
Oh, Lewis, you're getting me all hot and bothered now. The podcast has link trees. Lewis's link tree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram, and the podcast is /Shouting into the Void. There you will find all our socials, YouTube, Instagram, etc. So go have a look. We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Sophie.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Dougie.
Thank you, one and all. You allow us to make this show that we love to make, and you keep us, you keep us deep in something, as in your money, I'm spending it on useless crap. But no, I am actually spending it on advertising costs and hosting costs. So thank you very much for allowing us to make the show just how we like to make it. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. We have merch on Teespring and Redbubble, so go have a look at that. We sell tote bags, jumpers, t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of tacky shit. So go have a look and see what you like. Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself.
And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife, in which she crochets, and she's very good at it. She has taught me to crochet, which is incredibly kind of her, and now the house is knee-deep in poorly crocheted nonsense. But if you would like to see excellently crocheted good stuff, then you can go to @Number 12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram and check out what she's got going on. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, wee bit of a gear shift. For those of you that don't know, Rick and Morty has jumped back onto our screens, and yeah, we're going to do that. I mean, Doctor Who doing it from season 1 was like a way to sort of have a show to tide us over until other shows that we'd done in the past had come back, and now here we are.
Yeah, we're going to do Rick and Morty, and then as that ends, The Mandalorian will come out, and as that ends, Better Call Saul will come out, and we'll go episode by episode for every single one of them. Perfect.
Absolutely. So yeah, look forward to that, and we'll do Doctor Who again. I mean, the next episode isn't that good, so you don't need to worry about that.
What's the next episode?
42.
I kind of liked it because it was so stupid. It's like, you know, when you were watching Batman v Superman and you were like, this is insane, what the fuck is going on? But I'm kind of here for it. That's the same vibe I get it with 42.
Well, there you go. I mean, I thought it was a pile of shit, but but yeah. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you, hear you, smell you, create a half pig slave mutant Dalek hybrid, and make a 1930s pig and showgirl joke next time.
Indeed we will. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.